Welcome to this EdTech video. I have a special treat for you today. This is going to be kicking off a series of videos on generative AI, and I figured what better way to start it than to give you a demo of a custom chat assistant that I created for you. So the whole purpose of this video tutorial series that I'm about to start releasing is really about raising AI literacy here at the law school and Boston College and beyond, hopefully. And really what I want to do is just bring some of these concepts of using AI tools down to earth, make them really accessible, and make them as easy for you to go ahead and get started with them. Because in my opinion, that's the best way to learn about these tools, understand what they're good at, understand what they're not so good at, is to go ahead and just get started, quickest way. So what I've done is I've whipped up a custom assistant that is trained on a few things that I find particularly important to understand AI use at just an everyday user level, right? We don't have to be large language model engineers. We don't have to be coders or programmers to use these tools. And in fact, one thing that I'll stress a little bit here is that one of the cool things about the advent of this whole explosion of generative AI tools, chat assistants, these custom wrappers around some of the main models and things that you can learn about by talking with this particular assistant is that, like I said before, you don't have to be a coder. You're basically talking and interacting, coding with natural language. So I'm really excited to share this tool with you. I hope you have fun with it. I hope you use it to learn about talking with these AI tools. It's kind of a meta thing to do, right? Asking an AI, how am I supposed to use AI? And in fact, I'm going to showcase an example of that. But real quick, I'm just going to show you two things. I don't want to assume any previous AI knowledge. And in fact, that's one thing this tool is suited for, is to help you gain some AI literacy. Talk to this tool, learn about the different features that I found important to use as the general end user, right? Like just the average everyday person. These tools are incredibly powerful. You can get so much out of them. And again, that's one of those things that you just learn as you use them. So let's dive in. The first thing I want to say is I created this custom chat assistant using something called a GPT or a custom GPT. And this is a feature that's available inside of ChatGPT, which is one of the most common chat assistants available today. So one thing I want to show is just the interface for creating this, and then I'll hop into the actual assistant that you can use. So the first thing you'll see here, this is where you go to create and configure these tools. And if you weren't aware, the way that you get to ChatGPT in general is just chatgpt.com right here. I'll just open up a new tab. We'll go to chatgpt.com. So here we are, a blank interface, chatgpt.com. You don't have to pay for an account to use their latest models, their most effective and performant models, which is really amazing. In fact, that's one of the questions you can ask this tool once you get access to it. And you'll see a list here. There's a couple different models that I can choose from. So just know when you're interacting with this particular one, you're talking to GPT-4o. And again, I'm not going to explain too much in this video because I want you to use this tool to increase your knowledge. So generally what you're faced with is this empty text input. Something a lot of people, they open up, fire up one of these tools and they say, okay, now what? What do I do? Well, this tool is going to help you get over that hump because it's going to get you interacting with the tool. Now, like I said, this is a custom GPT. When you pay for an account, you're able to create these. And I encourage you, after you play around with some of these tools, to decide which one you like the most, and then pay for one for a month and access some of the more advanced features. You get to have longer conversations. You get to have more conversations before you get cut off. And like I said, you get access to the most advanced features as well. One of those is creating and sharing custom chat assistants for various tasks. So enough talking about that mumbo jumbo. Let's hop into the actual tool itself. So I've shared this so that anyone with the link can chat with it. That means you. Now, I copied this link and I'm gonna go to my other window where I've already prepared a conversation. So in general, what you can do once you get the link, I'll go ahead and paste that in just so you can see it. You should see a interface such as this. So an AI guide for everyday users. Like I said, this is trained on a lot of my educational materials. It's also trained on some of the latest information from these chat assistants to be able to sort of ground your conversation in truth. You may have heard of a term called hallucinations. If not, ask the tool. Let's go ahead and do that right now. What is a hallucination? Cool, searching for some knowledge here. Great, it's gonna explain it to you. And the idea here is to talk to you in a general way, but if you wanna dive deeper into some of the nitty-gritty of how AI functions under the hood, you can also do that as well. It's gonna adapt to your level of knowledge. Let's just say I wanted it to quiz me. Let's see if it can do that. Okay, I think I'm pretty good on my AI knowledge. Can you test me one question at a time? Love that it adds a little emoji in there. Take your time. What does the term context window and why is it important? This is actually a great question. This is one of those fundamental things you should know about using these AI tools. So pause the video. Do you know what this question is? I recommend giving it a try. See if you can explain it real quick before you continue on. All right, let's test my knowledge out. I'm gonna type in my answer. Let's see if I got it correct. Great, looks like I still have a job teaching people about AI, huh? So I nailed it. Great, so just a quick showcase. Now I did want to showcase one other feature, or actually I take that back, two features. One of them is advanced voice mode using OpenAI, a little bit outside of the context of this particular video, but I think it's important. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is how you can edit a chat and also how you can influence the character of these chat assistants as well. So I'm gonna go to a previously recorded conversation. This is one that I had a little bit earlier on as I was doing some initial testing. And I just decided to pretend I was a brand new user coming to this tool just to kind of see how it answered for me. So I very simply just said, hey, I'm new to AI. Where do I even start? It's going to go through and guide you through the steps of where you should focus your attention on learning about artificial intelligence. So don't worry if you feel like you're underwater with these tools. By me providing this particular tool to you, this is going to show you some of the abilities and capabilities of this. Use it as a learning tool. Use it to deepen your knowledge. Use it to dive deeper and do deeper work. It's an amazing, amazing technology. And that's not to say it's without its challenges or things you should be aware of, which you can also ask this tool as well. But getting a little ahead of myself. So I'm new to AI, where do I even start? It gives me a pretty solid answer. I read through this and I would feel fine with this as a quick overview. It's even armed with some knowledge in terms of extra resources to explore, so that could be something you dive into a little bit if you'd like. The other thing, this is what I wanted to show, was that if you start talking to this tool, you also have the ability to edit a conversation. You might see these little contextual menus appear as I hover. So you get this pencil icon and you can edit the message. What this allows you to do is actually essentially split the conversation in two, right? You can, one thing you learn as you use these tools, if you go really far down a particular rabbit hole or line of thought or reasoning and it's just not doing what you want to do, you might want to go back up further in the chat where it started to mess up and rethink your prompt to these tools. Again, these are, intuitions you build up over time, but I did want to show you this because I find people often forget to do this when they're working with these tools. So I also wanted to show, it's okay to ask questions as if you're talking to a colleague, a friend, myself, whatever. These tools aren't human, but they actually behave very well and can give you some insightful responses if you do ask it a question as if it was a colleague. Remember, these are co-intelligence tools. These are tools for thought, and you can certainly use them in that function. So what I did was I said, hey, I don't even know like what to ask, right? I said I wanted to learn AI. Your answer maybe didn't inspire me to dive deeper. The empty text input is intimidating. I alluded to that earlier. And of course, it says, hey, that's totally normal. Here's some example prompts to get you started. So if you wanted to, you could throw in some of these ideas. Some of them are actually pretty good. If you do decide to have it tell you a joke, you'll realize very quickly. One, they're always loaded up with like the same couple jokes for some reason, and they're not very good. So I'll let you have fun with that. Yeah, so I'm gonna go through some of my other types of questions that I ask this. I ask the same question, but one cool thing you can do with this is ask it to change its tone, give it a persona, give it a voice basically of how you want it to react and interact with you. So you could say, you know what, this is great, but I would rather you answer as if you were a professional in pedagogy, let's say. You're an instructional designer, or you have some specific kind of role, and you want the language to match that, right? More professional, more in-depth, more advanced. Well, you can just tell it to do that. So I'm going to load up this other version of the conversation where I thought it would just be fun because, again, using AI doesn't have to be all, work and seriousness, right? Like it can also be fun. So I told it, hey, talk to me like you're Ron Swanson. I want you to like embody this persona. So, it sort of like clears its throat, it's ready to go. Ron Swanson style, huh? All right, here's the deal. And, it gives examples that you can imagine Ron Swanson saying, like, building a chair. You don't start building a chair by jumping straight to the polish. You start with the frame. Same with AI, right? Like, ask it something basic and then build on your skills as you go. So that's kind of one funny example. And I'm going to share a couple versions of this chat so you can read through the whole thing if you want as part of the resources of this video. So the other thing I wanted to show was another version of this where I have it talk to me as if it was a noble person from the 16th century, right? Like I wanted it to embody like an aristocrat or just someone that would like really embody the caricature of this persona from this particular century. And, it delivered pretty substantially, I would say. So as you can see on the screen here, it gets real in depth with it. But one thing I wanted to actually show was how these particular tools can also work with voice assistants. This is going to be something that you're going to see more and more often, and they're already here, right? OpenAI, the company that built ChatGPT, if you pay for an account with them, you also get access to something called advanced voice mode. And it's a real-time conversational chat assistant. Really powerful. I'm still kind of learning myself about how to best use this. I've done it for things like talking back and forth to practice workshops and things like that and getting feedback in real time. I've also done it just for fun purposes, right? And this is one of those fun purposes I want to show you. So let's walk through a demo where I'm actually going to upload some text in this particular 16th century speak and have it sort of voice act for you. So let's see how it does. All right, so I'm recording my screen here, and I'll also just show you. There's some commotion outside my office. I'm just gonna let it bleed into this particular recording because I'm not sure how long they're gonna be out there. So apologies if you hear some noise in the background. So what I'm gonna do is just upload some content into my ChatGPT conversation here, and then we're gonna have advanced voice mode do a little voice acting for us, just so you could get a taste of how you might use this particular tool. Now, you're probably not going to use this in your class, or maybe you will. Maybe you can do some voice acting as part of your actual educational materials. You can also just do it for fun outside of class. So that I just want to show you the possibilities here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down because afterwards, it gave me some example questions to ask, and you can see like how influenced these conversations are based off of the context you provided. Talk to me like a noble person. When it's going to give you examples of how to work with it, it will give you very different examples than if it was Ron Swanson, or if you're just asking it with the straight up vanilla GPT, as I'll call it, sort of the baseline there. So what I decided to ask it was, I got into character myself. Prithee, noble AI, explain the philosophy of the transformer architecture. Kind of another thing to know in the back of your mind. You don't have to know too much about that to interact with these tools, but it's something interesting to learn about if you want. So it goes through and describes the transformer architecture in this particular voice. And so I'm going to let ChatGPT talk to you in the 16th century speak in sort of a voice acting mode. So before I paste this content in here, what I want to do is sort of queue up the chat assistant to go ahead and get in this voice acting mode. And then I'm going to paste the content in and have it read it back to me. So let's do a quick bit of setup here. In order to activate the voice mode, right, you could probably see it in just a second. You click that little circle icon with like the lines. It kind of looks like an audio waveform here. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap that. And once the voice mode activates, we can start talking to it. Hey, how's it going?
Hey Kyle, I'm doing well, thanks for asking. How about you? Glad to hear. What's on your mind today?
Right, and you can actually change up the voices a little bit. So that was Vale. We've got a few more.
Hey there. I've got a really great feeling about us teaming up. How can I...
Hi, glad to meet you. I think we're going to do great work together. Where should we start?
Hey, how's it going? I'm looking forward to working together.
Hey, I'm ready to hit the ground running. So if there's...
Hi there. I just want to share how thrilled I am to work with you, and I can't wait to get started. So what's the game plan?
All right, there's a couple more going the other direction. I'm just going to stick with this particular voice. Okay, and now what I'd like to do, rather than pasting in the text, which actually kicks you out of advanced voice mode if you're using that tool, what I'd like to do is showcase how these particular advanced voice modes can be used to also explain things in various language and tone and styles to you. So, all right, ChatGPT, what I want you to do is, I'm in the middle of a YouTube video tutorial, which is why you heard me talking right away. And what it's about is using advanced voice mode to hear some like different vocal styles, right? Like I can invoke different time periods or personas and things like that. How does that sound?
That sounds like a fun tutorial, Kyle. So in advanced voice mode, I can adapt my speaking style to match various characters or eras. For example, I could channel the grand eloquence of a Shakespeare.
Another thing that you can do with these is interrupt them, right? Like if they go on a little bit too long, you can just pipe in and keep a conversational flow going. So ChatGPT, what I'd like you to do is explain the transformer architecture to me. Do it in a short paragraph, and also I want you to embody a 16th century noble person, right? An aristocrat from that era. It should be a caricature basically of that type of voice and style and performance. What do you got for me?
Ah, my esteemed audience, pray, lend thine ears to a discourse on the architecture of the transformer. In this grand design, we commence with tokens, noble fragments of text, which are bestowed upon a multi-headed self-attention mechanism. Herein, each token gazeth upon
What are you talking about? Multi-headed attention mechanisms? Come on, this is supposed to be for people getting ready to use AI as an everyday user. Just tell them what the importance of the transformer architecture is from that viewpoint. What do they need to know? What do they need to keep in their back of their mind when they're using these tools so that they can use them more effectively armed with that knowledge?
Got it. Let's keep it simple and practical. The transformer architecture is like the brain behind many AI tools,
okay,
especially
but
in language
in
processing.
the voice of a 16th century noble person.
In a manner most practical for the modern scholar. The transformer, dear companions, serves as the backbone of our linguistic automata. It empowers these machines to comprehend and generate our language with a finesse most admirable. Thus, armed with this knowledge, one might wield these tools with greater efficacy, understanding the elegant dance of words and meanings therein.
Great. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. If you need any more noble insights or just plain explanations, feel free to ask.
So there you have it. There's a couple fun examples. Clearly, I had a little bit of fun with that last one, but what I recommend doing is taking some time, play with this particular chat assistant, right? Like I'm going to provide the link in this YouTube video. I'm also going to share it. I'll send it out via email so you all have access to it. So one thing I forgot to mention, but this tool is for everybody, right? Faculty, staff, students, doesn't matter. I'm going to upload it to the EdTech blog, the Law EdTech blog that I maintain under the AI section. And I'm also going to put a link to another chat assistant that I've created that's specifically for crafting AI policies for the classroom. So, if you're a faculty member, you haven't wanted to dive into AI yet, maybe a good use case for this would to simply pull this up with your students and craft an AI policy together. Make it inclusive, make it non-combative. Figure out what both of you want to see in the classroom moving forward as, not us versus AI, but us together with AI moving the needle forward, moving the bar forward. That could be one really cool use case that you take away from this. So have fun with it. I hope you learned something, and definitely feel free to let me know what your conversations were like. You can share your chats by clicking this little share button here and creating a link to them. I'd love to see them in the comments if you would like, or you can email them to me privately, however you want to get them to me. But I think that'll be super fun to see. So thanks for watching. I hope you have fun with it, and I'll see you in the next one.